That sweltering summer afternoon in 1998 seemed just like any other. When I went to visit my grandmother, I had no idea that a single moment would change my life forever. My grandmother was, as always, a woman of few words, her presence stern yet comforting. But that day, when she handed me a dusty, leather-bound diary, I saw a flicker of emotion in her eyes I'd never seen before. "This belonged to your great-great-grandmother," she said, her voice trembling just slightly. "I'm entrusting it to you." I turned the diary over in my hands, a wave of curiosity washing over me. "Thank you, Grandma. What's inside?" She just gave me a knowing look and said, "You'll understand once you read it," before turning towards the kitchen. The moment I opened it, the scent of old paper and pressed flowers filled the air. Pages covered in elegant, looping handwriting told stories of a woman whose name I'd only ever heard whispered. What started as mild curiosity quickly grew into a deep fascination. I was hooked. One rainy afternoon, curled up in my favorite armchair, I stumbled upon an entry that stopped me in my tracks. It was about her struggle after losing her first child. The raw, unfiltered pain in her words hit me with incredible force. I felt a profound sorrow for her, but also an immense admiration. What kind of pain must that have been? I wondered aloud. And yet, what an incredibly strong woman she was. This discovery was a turning point. I had always felt a bit disconnected from my family's history, but now I was beginning to understand the weight of my heritage, the quiet sacrifices of those who came before me. The diary was no longer just a book. It was a bridge, connecting me to my great-great-grandmother across time. Eager to uncover more, I kept reading, my heart racing with every turn of the page. And then I found it. A story of forbidden love, my great-great-grandmother, and a young man named Ahmet. "Oh, great-great-grandma, you had a story like this too," I whispered. The diary painted a vivid picture of a poor young man living in a small town during the Great Depression. Their love was forbidden by both of their families and scorned by society's harsh rules. As I read, tears welled up in my eyes. The day I met Ahmet was the happiest day of my life, she had written, but it was also the beginning of my greatest sorrow. I could feel her emotions as if they were my own, the joy, the pain, the strength that carried her through it all. But I had to tell someone. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, Elif. "Elif, you won't believe what I've discovered. My grandmother gave me my great-great-grandmother's diary. It's filled with forbidden love, heartbreak, and incredible resilience." There was a moment of silence, then Elif's excited voice. "Really? That sounds amazing. You have to tell me everything. When can we meet?" I didn't even hesitate. "I'm coming right now," I said, already grabbing my keys and rushing out the door. At Elif's house, we sat together, poring over the diary page by page. Every entry revealed a new secret, a new layer of this incredible woman's life. Elif was especially moved by the entry about the lost child. "Life can be so cruel sometimes," she said softly, her own eyes filling with tears. But your great-great-grandmother was such a strong woman. I wish I could be like her. I took her hand and squeezed it. We both can be Elif. We just have to be strong. As we reached the final pages, I read her last words aloud. Life gives us both bitter and sweet memories, but it is our duty to live them on. Never forget, our past shapes us, but our future is ours too, right? In that moment, everything clicked. I finally understood the message she was trying to send across the decades. I felt more connected to my family's history than ever before, but also more determined about my own future. I looked at Elif, a new resolve hardening in my voice. Elif, I'm not just going to read these stories. I'm going to write them. I want the world to know her story. Elif's face broke into a wide smile. That's a wonderful idea, Clara. I'm sure your great-great-grandmother would be proud. That very night, I started writing. Inspired by the diary, I began to weave her story together with my own words. With every sentence I wrote, I could almost hear her voice in my head, guiding me, encouraging me. This wasn't just about writing a story anymore. It was about reclaiming my own identity, my own heritage. This story was bigger than me. It belonged to my great-great-grandmother and to all the generations that would come after me. I was building a bridge connecting the past and the future, a bridge connecting heart and history. As I wrote, I relived every emotion she had described: the forbidden love, the struggles of the Great Depression, the gut-wrenching pain of loss, and the unshakable courage to keep going. One afternoon, my phone rang. It was my grandmother. "Clara, how are you? Have you been reading the diary?" Her voice was gentle. "Yes, Grandma. I've even started writing her story. You wouldn't believe how much I've learned," I told her, my voice buzzing with excitement. There was a pause. "That's wonderful, Clara," she said. "But remember, the story shouldn't stay in the past. You must keep it alive." Her words hung in the air. She was right. Just writing it wasn't enough. I needed to share it. That's when I decided to turn the story into a book. I would call it *Unforgettable Memories*. The book was a labor of love, detailing her forbidden romance, the hardships of the era, and the enduring strength of family. When it was finally published, the response was overwhelming. It became a success. Readers from all over were deeply moved, praising the writing and the raw emotional power of the story. At my first book signing, I stood proudly with Elif and my grandmother by my side. "Grandma, look what we've done." Great-great-grandma's story is now a book for everyone to read, I said, my heart swelling with pride. My grandmother's eyes glistened with tears. "She would be so proud of you, Clara. You're keeping her legacy alive." In that moment, I realized I wasn't just a writer. I was a guardian of my family's story. With the books, success came invitations for interviews and talks. Every time I stepped in front of a camera or a microphone, I shared my great-great-grandmother's story and talked about how important it is to remember our roots. One day, on a national TV show, the host asked me, "Clara, your great-great-grandmother's story is truly inspiring. What made you decide to share it with the world?" I looked straight into the camera. When I read her diary, I felt this incredibly deep connection. I knew her story couldn't just stay with me, it was a story that needed to be heard. I answered sincerely. The host smiled, "And it's touching so many lives. Congratulations." After the show, a woman approached me. "Hi, Clara, I'm Ashley. I read your book, and it deeply moved me. My grandmother lived in that same era. I think our families might be connected," she said, her eyes wide with curiosity. My own eyes lit up. "Really? That's wonderful. Maybe they knew each other. Let's find out together." We started researching, and sure enough, we discovered that our great-great-grandmothers had lived in the same small town. They had known each other. A new friendship bloomed, reconnecting to families after nearly a century. What began with a dusty diary became a lifelong journey. A journey where I not only told my great-great-grandmother's story, but also wrote my own. A story that would echo through generations, carrying the legacy of love, strength, and remembrance forever. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've ever felt a connection to your own family's past, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that connect us all. See you next time.